All right, I see Paul's joined us. Paul, I was just kind of letting everybody know how to go about getting to our quiz page. And I was, we can do this kind of however you want, but I was thinking that I could read the questions and kind of help direct us through the slides. But when it comes for any of the answers or anything like that, I'm going to let you take it over.
Okay, are we going to, first, can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, and are you going to have the, where it keeps track of stuff, or?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So it should be fun. It was an enjoyable time for basketball.
Yeah, definitely.
And so I think it's going to be a good opportunity. So for those of you who just logged on, if you want to join along on the quiz, I'm going to give you a quick second. Go to ahaslides.com. That's ahslides.com. I'm going to type it again into the chat box here, and it will take you real quick. I'll show. I'll share my screen with everybody. If you too many screens open. If you just type in here at the top ahaslides.com. And then if you click here at the top where it says ahaslides.com, and if you just type baseball, that will take you to the front cover of our quiz. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing. Go see if anybody else joined. I don't see anybody else who joined. So what I will do is this meeting is being recorded. Feel free to turn off your video if you want. Leave it on if you want. I think we're good on background noise, but don't forget to mute yourself if you're not talking or chatting or asking a question or something like that. And again, it's going to come back to me, but it's been a little bit since I did this with basketball. And again, what I see is not what you see. So I might have to have you walk me through it. So without further ado, we're going to give this a shot. Real quick, actually, my apologies. Before we do that, Bob, Bob Check, do you want to give any quick brief announcements for baseball like you did for softball?
Very briefly, just keep your arbiters up to date. Like we mentioned in softball, if you have a single game, and you get there and you find out it's a doubleheader or it's a suspended game before the regular game because they didn't finish it the day before or 2 days before, please just go ahead and work it and have somebody send me an email, and I'll add the extra game in. Even if it's a suspended game, you get paid another game fee. Some of our other games, our freshman JV games, there's going to be times where you're going to have to wind up working by yourself. If that happens, just make sure you send me an email, let me know, and you will be paid appropriately. I'll go in there and change your pay rate so you can get paid, like you're supposed to. But these things are going to happen from time to time. The problem we're having now is we're scheduling games, and then we're getting phone calls that morning saying that the visiting team is now in COVID protocol, the game's canceled. I had a phone call with Brett Rice this morning, and I vehemently told him that this was not really fair to some of these guys. It's happened to some people 2, 3, 4 times a week, and they get no compensation for it. And he says, well, it's construed as an act of God. I said, well, if these act of gods continues, we're going to have no officials. So what do you want to do about it? So he says we're going to have a meeting sometime over the summer to discuss some of this stuff. I don't know what's going to happen about it, but I'm trying to be an advocate for the officials as much as I can, and we'll continue to do that under the structure that they have right now. But it is challenging, so I appreciate everybody being cooperative and helping out. But it is a tough time of year, but we'll get through it somehow, some way. So thank you very much. If anybody has any questions, I'll be sticking around. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Bob. Real brief, I'll pause if anybody has a quick question for Bob. Otherwise, we'll get started with the fun quiz.
Well, I was just wondering if, like we did for basketball, if we need to ask host schools if they have any COVID protocols that we need to do as umpires.
Should we reach out beforehand?
You could if you want. I mean, since baseball is out and softball is outside, I think we're just going to follow the protocol that Shane talked about in the first meeting, Whereas I think, Shane, all the kids on the bench have to have a mask or a mask on. The kids on the field do not have to have one. I think that's correct. If the coach wants to come talk to you about a play, and you meet with him, at the foul line, you got to put your mask on. And I think that's the only thing we're doing right now is for baseball and softball.
Has anybody experienced any schools having going above and beyond those COVID protocols? I was just wondering if anybody else has had any of that experience so far. I see some people say no. So okay, sounds like that's been the way that's been going. But it's no one's ever going to tell you not to communicate with a school or to reach out ahead of time. That is always okay. So, all right. So, okay, everyone, here we go. So, real briefly about this thing. It's a little bit like Kahoot. If any of you have younger kids, grandkids, whatever, and they're in class, if you ask your kids if they ever have taken like a Kahoot test, most of them are gonna know what you're talking about. Got it. Paul just texted me and let me know that he's having internet trouble. So that is okay. I will just acknowledge that, let him know we'll take care of it, and things will work out. Okay. So I am going to start it, and should give you an opportunity, like type in your name. Feel free to type in a nickname, your initials, first name, full name, middle name, whatever. Just keep it clean because, again, this is being recorded. So no shenanigans tonight. But let's kick this off. Let's see here. Present. All right. Okay. Can anybody tell me, are you able to, for those of you that logged on, I just started the presentation. Can you, what are you seeing?
The logo still.
The logo still. Okay. Let's see here. Instructions ball, stop presenting. Okay, here you go. Oh, there you go.
Now you can enter your name.
All right. Approximately, by just kind of a sound of your voice or acknowledging the slide, I'm trying to figure out how many people I should be waiting to log on. How many people are kind of going to give this a shot?
I am one.
Okay.
I'm doing it, Shane.
All right, cool.
I am too.
All right. Well, we'll get rolling. So what happens is you get points for answering more quickly. But if you get it wrong, you get 0 points. So, that's the challenge. Now, the questions as written on the screen, I will read them as written on the test, but they are not they're not necessarily written. So I had to abbreviate some words, and I had to maybe leave out a the or something as I wrote it for the character thing. But I'm going to read it as is. So again, speed counts, but don't go too fast. All right. And you can answer right away if you know the answer. You've already done it. That's fine. You don't have to wait for me to finish reading it. Okay. Question 1 and 2. All right. If an assistant third base coach comes onto the field to argue a call at second base after being warned to stop, assistant coach should be restricted to the dugout. Assistant coach should be ejected from the game. The assistant coach should be ejected, and the head coach should be restricted to the dugout. Both the assistant coach and head coach should be ejected from the game. Now, for me personally, I say eject everyone, but that's probably not the way to go necessarily. All right. So I had a couple people answer C, which is the correct response. And so, Paul, you got anything to say about that? Well, wait a second. Paula is still rebooting. So, does anybody have any questions about that one? It sounds like our two contestants got that one right. And if I promise you I won't be able to answer the question, but maybe somebody on the call can, if unless we're all clear on that one. All right. Without hearing anything, I will go to the next question. By the way, that was question number 2 on the exam, and it was letter C. Okay, moving on. So this is the next question. It corresponds to question 3 on the exam. If this year all coaches are restricted from coming onto the field to argue or dispute an umpire's call, if a head coach in the third base coach's box begins to come across the field to argue a play at first base, he should be ejected immediately. He should be restricted to the dugout immediately. He should be warned not to continue and should be ejected if he ignores the warning. A, B, or C there?
A.
All right. So the answer to that question is C. He should be warned not to continue and should be ejected from if he ignores the warning. So it sounds like this was a new rule for baseball. Is that pretty straightforward? Has anybody had that situation happen yet? Paul, if you can hear us, we are on question 3. We just went through that answer. Both our contestants got letter C right for the new.
C, yes. If you can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. Everything's
Third
working.
time to charm for me here. So yeah, the coaches should be warned not to continue on with their issue and not come across the field. So it's always a good thing to say something to everybody in the pregame.
I was joking with everyone that I say eject and just eject and just throw people out, but that's probably not the appropriate way to go. That's probably not exactly how it's supposed to happen. So we'll move on to the next question. This, all right, Tim and Bob duking it out. We got question number 7 here on the test. Question 7, when a coach physically assists a runner during play, the ball is dead immediately and the runner is out. The ball is left in play and the runner is out. All other play stands. The ball is left in play and the runner is out. All other runners not put out during the play return to the bases at the time of the infraction. A, B, or C? All right. And again, both our contestants got this one right. It is letter B. The ball is left in play and the runner is out. All other play stands. Paul, you got any comment on that question?
I think we lost him, unfortunately.
Oh, no. All right. Does anybody else have any comment on that? All right. So moving on, let's see how the results are in. Ooh, Tim getting those responses in just a shade earlier. So the next question corresponds to number 8 on the exam. In the 6th inning, with a runner on third and 1 out, the batter hits a fly ball to the center fielder for the 2nd out. R3 tags up and scores on the play. Immediately after the play is over, it is determined that the center fielder is an illegal player. So A, the center fielder is ejected, the out is nullified, the runner returns to third, and the batter will come back to bat with the previous count. B, the center fielder is restricted to the dugout. The offensive team may choose whether to allow the play to stand or nullify the previous play and have the batter come back to bat. Or C, the center fielder is restricted to the dugout, the out is nullified, the run still scores, and the batter is able to come back to the bat with the previous count. And both contestants got letter B correct on the exam. That corresponds to number 8 on the exam, letter B. I got a little winded reading that one, and that was a bit of a long scenario. Was everybody clear on that? First of all, I know when I read a football question or a basketball question, I'm sitting here going, I have officiated basketball for 20 years and I've never seen something like that happen. Is this one of those kinds of questions? I mean, how often is it discovered during the middle of a game that somebody is an illegal player? 0. I see Bob showing 0 times.
Yes, I've had 0 also.
So this is like one of those really obscure, like, do you know the rule kind of thing? But it might not be that. And Paul, I can see why you wanted me to put that one on there, because that was
it's wacky.
Yeah, very much so.
Or I didn't want to. I don't like doing it, but we were going to have to go over it anyways, and I knew it was going to be some. We'd have a conversation about it, so I thought it would be good for that.
Okay. Well, let's see the point totals. Ooh. Okay, Bob caught up. All right. So 10. This corresponds to 10 on the rules test. Ground rules. A, may supersede the official playing rules in the rule book, are illegal if set. Oh, never mind. Everyone who is a contestant answered quickly. Yeah, so the answer is C. Ground rules may be formulated by the plate umpire if the 2 head coaches disagree. Paul or anybody else have any comment on that one?
Again, this has never happened to me, but it almost happened once. But the visiting team gave in. So, but the home team guy was right with what he wanted to do. So, visitors wanted to do something wacky, but we got around it.
What field was that at, Paul?
I was at Wall Lake Western, and it was a girls' softball game. They wanted to play. If you overthrow it into right field and it goes down the hill, this is probably before they redid the back area. But if it went down the hill, you got to go get it. I was like, no, it can't be out of bounds if you go to catch it, and then if you throw it, it's still in play. So they were okay with it. Thank God we didn't have that problem. But anybody else run into anything like this?
Really
number 12.
Rule knowledge. That's a hard one. Okay, so this next question is going to correspond to number 12 of the rules test. All right. Andrew, I'm assuming that's you. Welcome to the party.
Yeah, there's some internet. Thank you. Yeah, there's some internet issues, so I'm playing catch up.
We'll see if you can't sprint up to them. So this next one is number 12 on the exam. The home team assistant coach brings the plate umpire 3 baseballs to start the game after the plate meeting. The plate umpire notices that the balls do not contain any NOCSAE certification marks.
We affectionately call it NOXY.
NOXY. Okay. All right. The answer is C. These baseballs must be replaced with NOXY certified baseball. If there are no such baseballs available, the game cannot be started. Is that a new
Has anybody had problems with that this year?
They've already changed that.
What do you mean?
Yeah, I know Brent sent out a email clarification a couple days ago, but I think you need to still have Noxie to get started. I think during the
Yes.
run of play, if it wears off or something, was kind of like clarification.
Correct. So it no longer has to be there the whole game. Make sure you take a look at them before you start the game. Make sure nobody's trying to get away with anything. You know how that goes. Any
All
questions on that? Anybody have any problems?
Okay.
Number 14, Shane, please.
Number 14. Ooh, Andrew getting there. All right. Number 14. When a runner creates malicious contact with a fielder, it is always offensive interference. It is offensive interference only if the fielder did not have possession of the ball. It is offensive interference only if the field was out of the runner's baseline. The ball remains in play. All action ceases. When a runner creates malicious contact with a fielder, it's always offensive interference. Looks like all three of our contestants got that one right. Paul, got any comments on that?
I do not. Anybody have any questions out?
All right, let's see. Leaderboard doing? All right, Andrew, if you upgraded your internet connection like when they offered you to, you might be up there with Tim and Bob.
Yeah, two smart guys I'm going against. I still might be in third.
All right. Well, the next question is
17.
Number 17 on the exam. Frank, or as I list him, A1, is listed as the shortstop doubleheader in the fifth spot of the starting lineup. In the third inning, A2 replaces A1 at shortstop, but A1 remains in the game as the doubleheader for A2.
Designated hitter.
Designated hitter.
Oh, designated hitter. Thank you. An inning later, the head coach would like A1 to return to play. Oh, this is the first one where we got anybody get anything wrong. So the answer is B. This move is legal, but the doubleheader, the DH role is terminated for the remainder of the game, and A2, as I have it written, will be substituted for, or on the test, George. Paul, you got any comments about this one?
Has
I'm
anybody had any?
devastated.
Go ahead.
I was just screwing around. I'm saying I'm devastated because I got my mistake.
Oh, no.
Has anybody had any problems with the new player designated hitter rule?
I'm
had
not
all the
looking
coaches
forward to it.
afraid of it. Everybody seems to be afraid of it. So, but anybody have any questions on the player DH?
Okay.
Okay, number 19.
Number 19. Andrew caught up on that one. All right. Number 19. With one out in the third inning, the head coach has an offensive conference with the batter, Baker A1. 2 pitches later, Baker A1 grounds out on a close play at first base where the home head coach believes the first baseman was pulled off the bag. He calmly approaches the foul line to request the base umpire to ask for help. And the answer is eject everyone. No. The head coach should be warned that he does not have an offensive charge conference to use and must return to his position. If he persists, then he should be ejected.
Has anybody had anybody? Everybody's been really nice this year so far. Has anybody had any issues with any coaches? Everybody's just happy to be playing from what I've gotten so far. I can't imagine that lasting another week, but
The only thing I'd run into is they ask questions out of habit. And frankly, if I forget about this rule and I turn and answer the question when they kind of say it from the dugout.
I wouldn't cut a hair. I'd still do it, what you got to do. I mean, if someone's quoting your rule in verse, then I would be a little bit more temperamental with them. If they're not, they're just asking a question, it's okay. I think that's how I would approach it. Anybody else?
All right.
Number 20.
Number 20. Oh, Andrew fell back on that one. All right, number 20. With 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th inning, a runner is thrown out on a steal attempt at second base. The head coach, who's in the third base coach's box, would like to come out to the base umpire to discuss the play. For the discussion to take place, all the following are required, except which one of the 4 doesn't fit? Coach must have at least 1 defensive charge conference remaining. The coach must have not yet used his charge offensive conference in the 4th inning. The coach must calmly approach the foul line and request to discuss the play. The base umpire must agree to discuss the call with the coach at the foul line. And everyone's answered, and 2 of 3 got it correct, which is letter B on the PDF test. The coach must have not yet used his charged offensive conference in the 4th inning. Paul, take it away.
Anybody have any questions on this one? Yeah.
I thought with the third out, they had to have a defensive conference if they're switching sides.
Right, it is. This is an accept.
Okay.
This is one of those double negatives. They drop on us. So this is what's not, and this is what is not for the offensive. Does that make any sense?
It does now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
All right.
So 21?
21 is on the exam. With a runner on first and second base and 1 out, the batter bunts the ball high into the air between the pitcher and catcher. The pitcher easily settles under the ball, but allows it to fall to the ground untouched. He then picks up the ball and turns an easy double play. The play stands. This is double play. Everybody's answered. Okay. The answer is A. The play stands. This is a double play.
Okay, remember, they can't drop it intentionally. So other than that, it's a bunt, so it's not an infield fly. Can't have an infield fly in a bunt. And it's not intentionally dropped, so if he does intentionally drop it, then you kill it, and you just call the batter out and reset everybody.
Paul, does drop it mean he had it in his glove and dropped it, you mean, or just let it?
Intentionally drop it. So,
Okay.
and yeah, that's why we get paid the big bucks, right? It's your decision on whether it's intentional or not. But don't let anybody get away with anything. I say that quite a bit, but don't let anybody get away with anything. They're trying to get away with anything to turn a double play. If most of the time, if they let it drop, the ball's going to spin one way or the other, and it's not going to go. I shouldn't say that, but most of the time it's going to spin some wacky way and probably go into foul territory. You're going to reset it anyways. But it could actually spin on the other side of the base. So, but whatever happens. Questions on 21?
Okay.
25?
Yep,
Last
moving
one.
on to 25, and I believe this is our last question. 25 on the test, R1 stealing, no one out. The batter hits a high fly ball to left field that is caught. R1 misses second base on his way past it while returning to first base to properly tag up. R1 touches second on his way by. When the ball comes into the infield, the defense throws the ball to second base and appeals R1 missed it. The answer is B. R1 is not out since he touched second his last time by. Looks like everybody got that one correctly who was playing along. Any comments on that? All right, let's move that ahead. And Bob Kelly with 832 points is the victor on Do You Know Baseball Rules Tonight? So, congratulations, Bob.
Well, thank you. I thank the Academy.
So, just going through the questions that we went through, 2 was letter C, 3 was letter C, 7 was letter B, 8 was letter B, 10 was letter C, 12 was letter C, 14 was letter A, 17 letter B, 19 C, 20 B, 21 A, and 25 B. This is usually where we want to give an opportunity should anyone else have any questions on any of the other exams. We only do this for about 10 or 12 questions. Paul, don't know if you want to go over some of the other ones that you thought were worth talking about, or just kind of leave it open to those who want to ask questions.
Does anyone have like a case play they want to go over, or should we just blow through the rest of the test? If you have a case play, speak up. Otherwise, I'll just start on number 1 and we'll roll through it. Okay, since I didn't hear from anybody, we'll go back to number 1. At the pregame plate conference, the plate umpire issues a warning to both teams for any player wearing jewelry while participating in the game. Does anybody want to take a chance at it?
D.
Anybody else? Did you say? Okay, the answer is C. This is not correct protocol. The umpire may issue a warning to only the team of the offending player at the first instance a player is observed wearing jewelry. So you can't just say at the plate conference if someone throws their bat, they're ejected, or if someone's wearing jewelry, this is your warning. So try and give them a little leeway, especially this year since the games have just been awful. But anyways, any questions on number one is C, Charlie. So we've done number two, C, Charlie. Number 3 is C, Charlie. Number 4, Daniel is listed as a designated hitter for Baker in the 3rd spot in the batting lineup. In the 4th inning, Baker bats when it's Daniel's time to bat and hits a single. Anybody want to give it a try?
C is in cat.
It is C, yes. This move is legal. The DH role is terminated, however, for the remainder of the game, and Baker will continue to bat in the 3rd spot. Questions on number 4? Okay, number 5. The starting pitcher listed on the lineup card is required to
A.
A. Okay, so it's A for Alpha. Pitch until the first hitter becomes a runner or is put out.
That's for the mayor.
Questions on number 5? Okay, number 6. The home team players are all dressed in gray uniform pants and shirts. When the home team coach comes out, the third base, to coach third base, the plate umpire notices he is wearing his Pat Boone shoes. What do we got?
C is in cat.
See, it is. The head coach is restricted to the dugout, so the coaches have to be in uniform also. I would just make sure that they look like a coach too. So, questions on 6? We've done number 7, which is B. We've done number 8, which is B Bravo. Here's number 9. In the 3rd inning, rain begins to steadily fall. The responsibility of determining whether to continue play is it's C. So C, Charlie, is the umpire since the game has started. Before the game starts, it's the home team administration. So I guess that if the athletic director, if you actually see an athletic director at a baseball game, God bless you. But I mean, if he's out there, but it's going to be the head coach probably, the home coach probably. So, but once we start, it's our decision. Questions on number 9? Okay, we've done number 10, which is C. C, Charlie. Number 11, the game begins when? Anybody?
D, Delta.
Yep, it's D, Delta. The umpire calls play, and all defensive players and the batter are in their proper positions to start the game. And the pitcher's on the plate, on the pitcher's plate, the catcher's in the catcher's box. We go. That's when we start. Questions on 11? Okay, 12 we've done, which is C, Charlie. 13, a batted ball that goes sharp and direct to the catcher's chest protector and then subsequently caught by the catcher is a foul tip.
False.
False.
B, correct. B, false. Okay, so if it goes directly from the bat to the mitt and then to the chest protector and then he smothers it, that's a foul tip. But if it hits the ground, it's a foul ball. Questions on 13? Gordy, you okay? Okay, good. You're still just like, it didn't look like you were moving there. Okay, so that's 13. Any questions on 13? 14 we've done, which is A. Okay, 15. A head coach restricted to the dugout may.
B as in boy.
B, bravo, correct. Come out of the dugout to tend to a player that is injured or ill. That's about it. The players can come to him, so don't forget, players can come to him, but he can't go to them. Questions on 15? Okay, number 16. Charles is listed as the first baseman DH in the third spot in the starting lineup. All the following moves are permitted except
B as in Bach.
B as in Bach. Yes, correct. Charles may be replaced at first base by Jones while continuing to bat as the DH for any player in the lineup. But once Charles is replaced, everybody else will be removed from the game. So whoever replaces Charles will be the DH will be done, and they will be in that slot in the lineup. Questions on 16? 17 we've done, which is B. 18, now the fun stuff starts. A scuffle ensues at second base after what is thought by the shortstop to be a hard slide. The shortstop, Abel, begins punching the runner, who does not retaliate. From the defensive team's dugout, Baker and Charles come running into fair territory, but do not engage in a physical altercation. Daniel comes sprinting out of the dugout and also begins punching the runner. Edward stands up and moves to the top of the dugout, but does not come onto the field. So who are we ejecting?
B as in boy.
B as in Bravo, correct. So anybody that comes onto the field, if they stay in the dugout, God bless you if you get to keep them all in the dugout, but hopefully that'll take care of that situation. Almost had one of them today myself, so.
Oui.
Any questions on 18? 19 we've done, which is Charlie. 20 we have done, which is Bravo. 21 we've done, which is A Alpha. Now to 22. While in the set position with his hands together, the pitcher would like to change to the windup position. What is required for this to be done legally while the ball is alive?
A.
A.
A is an Alpha, correct. Step backward off the back edge of the pitcher's plate with his pivot foot. So his pivot foot has to go first. So, questions on that one? That one's pretty easy, I think. 22 is good. 23, with his feet in the windup position, the pitcher may do all of the following except
B.
B.
Bravo.
B. Thank you. B Bravo. Step to a base and attempt to pick off a runner. So the pitcher can deliver a pitch or step backwards off the pitcher's plate with his pivot foot first, but he cannot try to pick off a runner while in the windup. 24. With a 1-2 count, the batter swings at a pitch that hits him on his hands around the bat. The ball then goes straight back to the backstop. We've talked about this enough over the years, but this one's A Alpha. The ball is dead, a strike is added to the count, and the batter's out. The batter's out because it's strike 3. If it was If the count was 1-1, it would then be 1-2. But since it's 1-2, that's strike 3, and he's out. So if the batter's trying to get out of the way and it hits him on the hands, that's one thing. But if he's striking at it and it hits him on the hands, that's another thing. So striking at it and hitting the body part is like swinging and missing, and the catcher catching it. Trying to get out of the way and getting hit is getting hit. So that's why we get paid the big bucks, so everybody gets out. So you get to make that call. So. Questions on 24?
I'm sorry, Paul. I'm sorry,
Yes?
Paul. So make sure I got it right. The swinging and hitting the ball with his hands is similar to swinging and having hit his body. And
That can happen too. If he swings and it hits his body, that's the same thing as
Same, that's what I meant. I'm sorry. Same
Same concept.
situation.
right.
Okay.
Same concept.
Thank you. Thank you.
No problem. 25 we've done, which is B. So 26. R1 is stealing, 1 out. The batter hits a ground ball to the third baseman. He fields the ball and immediately errantly throws the ball out of play beyond first base in an attempt to put out the batter runner running to first base. At the time of the throw, R1 was past second base.
Third and 1.
B as in boy.
B is in Bravo, correct. R1 is awarded third base, and the batter runner is awarded second base. So this is the first play on the infield. So first play on the infield is 2 bases from the time of the pitch. 27 is, which we haven't done 27 yet. Okay, good. So 26 is first play on the infield. 27, R1 stealing, 1 out. The batter hits a ground ball to the second baseman, who fields the ball and swipes in an attempt to tag R1, but misses him. He then errantly throws the ball out of play beyond first base in an attempt to put out the batter runner running to first base. At the time of the throw, R1 was past second base. So the first play on the infield was the second baseman's attempt to tag R1. So now this is going to be A for Alpha. R1 is awarded home, and the batter runner is R1 is awarded home, and the batter runner is awarded second base. So since the player that the second baseman tried to tag was at second base, when he threw it out of play, he's awarded 2 bases, so he gets home. Any questions on that one? Okay, number 28. Jackson, the starting pitcher, batting in the 6th spot in the batting lineup, is substituted for by Miller in the 4th inning.
B as in boy.
Anyone, correct. B Bravo. Jackson may re-enter in any defensive position, but the same spot in the batting lineup, including pitcher, as long as he was not removed due to an injury or because of a conference after all charged conferences were exhausted. So if Jackson had to have pitched to one person, or was not removed because was not removed on the 3rd or 4th conference. So, is any questions on that one? I'm getting tied up in my tongue here.
Has anybody seen that?
I have not.
Okay.
No.
Okay, so 28 is B Bravo. 29, the catcher comes to his position in the 1st inning wearing a skull cap and an unattached mask. Both pieces of gear are in good condition.
C.
C.
C is Charlie, correct. 29 is C Charlie. The combination of equipment is illegal. The catcher must wear a helmet mask combination that meets the Nazi standard. So it's got to be one piece. And I affectionately call it the goalie mask, but it's also the helmet mask combination. Questions on 29? Okay, number 30, the last one here. The visiting team has used only one charged defensive conference through 7 innings. Eighth inning, the visiting team has this number of available charged conferences remaining.
A as in
A.
allowed.
So A alpha, correct. One charged defensive conference. So every 6 outs, every new inning, you get one more defensive conference and only one offensive conference too. But you get 3 conferences in a 7-inning game, and then they go away if you go to extra innings. So it's A alpha. Questions on that one? Okay, I've got 3 or 4 other things too. First, Andrew Hayner helped me with the baseball test. Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate it.
Got it.
Mike Gentry, I owe you a return email on the next meeting, so I will.
Yeah, let's coordinate on it, Paul.
If my life ever gets, as you could tell by me getting crazy here, so if my life ever gets calm and I get a couple more minutes, I will.
Did you
get
say
back to you, I
life?
promise.
Did you say life or wife?
Life, but yeah, wife too. But so
Hand
there's
in
other.
hand, right?
There's other things too. Don't forget, if you want to work past the districts, you have to take the rules meeting, you have to take the exam, and you have to put your schedules in.
Due date of April 15th, correct?
Correct. I believe it's Thursday, April 15th. I would not wait to the last minute. I don't.
Brent sent an email out late today covering that too, Paul.
Oh, okay. I did not see that. I had. You saw my internet problems trying to get on here tonight, so I wouldn't wait till the last minute. So I'll open the floor up to anybody that has. Did anybody have a play yet that's out of the ordinary they would like to talk about?
I guess it's not completely out of the ordinary, Paul, but I was just watching that Mets versus Marlins game last week where there's a bases loaded walk-off hit by pitch where the batter was struck by the ball in the strike zone. And a week earlier, I had a game in Southfield where I called that a dead ball strike, and then the coach, of course, has to get his 2 cents in, but correct call. But yeah, I just think that's just kind of a good learning tool. I think one of the points of emphasis this year is when in doubt, call it a hit by pitch and give them first base. But just make sure that if it is in the strike zone, then we just kill it and then put a strike on the batter.
Or if someone sticks their elbow or their knee into it, I had somebody on Saturday actually stick their knee into it. So I called him back. I think I've done that twice now in the 39 years I've been doing this. So, but he stuck his knee into it. But I tell you, don't let anybody get away with anything. If they look like they're getting away with something, don't let them get away with it. If it hits them, it hits them. If they're throwing it hard, and it's breaking big, and then this one doesn't break and it hits them, don't throw it at the batter. That's always been my opinion. Throw it over the plate, and then if he sticks his elbow into the plate, I can do something with it. Otherwise, sorry. I had an obstruction yesterday. Let's see. It was first and second, and I had a steal play at third, and the runner in the third. Of course, the ball was thrown into the runner, and the runner and the third baseman collided, and it hit the runner, and it went to the third base dugout. So the third baseman was spiked and was laying on the ground. The runner got up and scored, and now the guy from first comes around. Why did they throw it? They threw it. Oh, they tried to throw it home to get the batter, try and get the runner at home too. So they overthrew that. The ball went over towards first base. So now the guy at first came around third base, and the third baseman was still laying there, and he fell over the top of him. So I had to award home plate. I didn't get too much crap for it, but it worked out.
Great baseball.
Yeah, God.
Great baseball.
Yeah, Paul, I got one.
Yes.
This just happened last weekend. First 2 outs. The batter swings at the pitch and puts it into play. As he's contacting the ball and putting it in play, his follow through strikes the catcher in the side of the head.
Oh no!
And actually, between that and had the catcher not gone down from the contact, the batter was actually falling over home plate and backwards towards us. So he was almost sitting in his lap, but he was able to kind of catch himself, but he put his hand out to kind of, and he made contact with the catcher too. So he goes to first. The catcher stayed down. I mean, he smoked him. This is probably the hard as former catcher myself. I don't have not seen someone at the follow through on a backswing interference like that in a long, long time. But end of the play, neither runner, batter runner, or our one on first is put out. So,
And you think all he could get was a single? If it
never left the infield.
Was it catcher interference or was it a follow through on the swing?
Follow through.
Okay, so it wasn't catcher interference. So
No.
it's pretty much it's live. So
Despite the fact that he's essentially taking the catcher out of any defensive opportunity.
do you think he did it on purpose?
Well, no. I mean, the swing was so violent, his momentum was already starting to carry him out of the box as he was making contact with the ball.
I can't see how you could penalize the kid for doing if he normally does that. Again, if he's trying to get away with something, then yes. But it doesn't sound the way you described it like he was trying to get away with anything. So
Okay.
I think it's a good no call. Oh, we had one today too. So just off the top of my head, I was on the bases. Thank God. Kid hits a fly ball to center field, and I hear my partner say, "Catcher interference." So the kid probably hit it about 250 feet with catcher interference. So I was, and it went, but I could only imagine if the catcher didn't get in the way, how far it would have went. But anybody else want to share anything? Did I forget anything?
Are you guys having any problems with the pitcher going to his mouth and going directly to the ball?
Twice.
It seems like they seem to understand they can't do it this
Okay.
year.
So we were discussing this before the game. So if there's a runner on base and the pitcher goes to his mouth, and I wanted to look it up, but there was absolutely no time for me to do that. What do we got? What do we have? Do we have a ball or do we?
If he goes to his mouth and wipes it off, I thought he's fine.
Yeah.
No, not this year.
Okay.
Can't go to your. The pitcher can't go to his mouth anywhere on the
Okay.
field.
So then it's a balk. A runner on base would be a balk.
Anybody want to confirm that? Because that's what I think it is too.
I thought he had to be engaged on the rubber for that to be a balk, but I guess if the mound itself constitutes.
Okay, so if he's out after a throw and the catcher tosses it to him and he goes to his mouth and there's a runner at second, what do you got?
I just do preventive officiating. I just shut it down, take the ball out of play, and just tell him not to do it again.
Okay, but is it a ball or is it a balk? I know. Is it a ball or a balk?
So he's not even like on the dirt or anything. He's just on the grass and he goes to his mouth.
Correct. So the pitcher can't go to his mouth anywhere on the field. I'm hoping Mike Gentry looks it up.
I got it here.
Well, I'm not looking it up, Paul, but I believe if no runners are on base, it's a ball. And if there's a runner on base, it's a balk.
That's what I thought too. I think
That's
it's a
what I
balk.
have in my notes from our last meeting, that if the pitcher does it, it's a balk if there's runners on base, and the ball's always added to the count.
So
This is a COVID protocol, so it doesn't matter where the pitcher is.
and you're supposed to throw the ball out of play, and they're supposed to sanitize the ball. So
Correct.
And if you ever see well, I won't go there.
It's not sunscreen.
Okay, I got John Adams does not have a microphone, but would like. Type it in, John.
Send it in through the comments.
anybody, I think it's a balk too. So if the pitcher's behind the catcher, after a double, he tosses in the ball and he goes to his mouth, we're going to have to give the runner at second, third base, and we're taking the ball out of play. So don't forget to take the ball out of play.
And if the ball's dead, Paul, you still balk them?
Balk.
Yeah, I don't. It seems from when I read it, it seemed pretty straightforward that the pitcher can't go to his mouth anywhere on the field. So it'd be the same thing as though to start the inning, the pitcher gets on is behind the rubber and he goes to his mouth. I mean, the ball's dead technically because we didn't say play. So we'd give the batter a ball. So that would be
Ball one.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And throw the ball out.
Yes. Okay, John, if you're having troubles typing, I will give you my cell phone number. You can call me. If I don't answer, please leave a message so I know it's you, because I tend to ignore phone numbers that I don't recognize because I have enough insurance and I haven't been on a holiday in a year and a half. So, okay, 9 o'clock, right, Shane?
Yep.
Does anybody have anything else? Oh, okay. Here's John's question. On the lineup card I received. Okay, so John, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it over the phone. Anybody else?
What is it?
It just says on the lineup card I received DH2, and then I put my phone number in, and it sounded like he said, "Oh, okay, thanks." So,
Copy that.
You'll have to let us know for next time, Paul.
yeah, we're gonna do it next time.
We'll talk.
This was so much fun. It only took me if you got on late, it took me 4 tries before, and then I had to move so I could get an internet connection.
That's that's okay. It just gave me an opportunity to show them how much I know about baseball and softball. The big yellow ones are baseball, and
It got your blood flowing to where you want to umpire, right?
That's right. When Tom showed me this huge welt that he had on his leg the other day, it really made me want to officiate baseball.
Yeah, that was supposed to be between us, Shane.
Okay. I didn't say here exactly.
Shane, if you do, I get the $10 finder fee from Gary, all right? I got dibs.
We'll prorate it. All right. Well, I appreciate everybody logging on. I'll upload this on YouTube and for the good of the group for the test. Just appreciate everybody's effort this year. Paul, you got any last minute things?
If I don't see you, enjoy the rest of the season, and just be happy we're out there. Have fun.
All right, everybody. Have a good one.
Thank you, guys.
Night.
Take care.